Hey, Chief, we got a report in from some place called Green Haven. Think you should have a look at this one. Here. What have we got here? Huh. I'll cut to the chase. There was one, possibly two murders with an MO that you are probably familiar with. Death by cutting featuring a carving of a circular pattern in the flesh, featuring all sorts of weird symbols. You can't mean... Exactly. I hoped that the sigil killer had been killed or arrested or for some other crime. But if this is the same perp, they could have been off-world killing for years and no one bothered to tell us. I already have the computer trying to track down reports, and I've put in requests to all the other major governments, planning on adding pretty much everyone else we can contact to the info requests when I get back. Yes. Keep it up. And give a message to Greenhaven. I want names and profiles of everyone there, and everyone who's come and gone in the last year. I've got a partial list for the last month already for the transit stuff. They're all listed on page 15. None of the names match any of the previous suspect lists, but hey, hold on. I recognize one of these names. Alex Carter. He was a PI working for one of the victims' families, I think. Trying to pump me for information a while back. That's interesting. If it's the same guy, billions of people across known space. I can double check and see if it's the same guy. The bad news is that I think he's one of the ones that left after the second murder, so he could be anywhere at this point. Check him. And if it's a match, if this is the same guy, we start there. Put out a general call, interplanetary of course, to bring this guy in for questioning, along with anyone who's spent time with him recently. This is just getting started, I feel. Well. Welcome back to Stellar Renaissance. I got some players with me. Who are you guys?
Who do we start? Me? Alphabetical?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm Alex Carter, and this is the first intro that's actually had my name in it, so kind of feeling a little bit on edge here now. I'm like, oh boy. I'm not the sigil killer. I'm pretty damn sure I'm not. I am, as the intro said, a private investigator, private detective, whatever you want to call it. Ex-military, done a few bits here and there. Currently trying to find the sigil killer under the guise of other missions. The person investigating the crime gets fingered for the crime. Oh, the cliched irony.
Well, it is very suspicious that you're there at the same time in the same place and all.
Well, you know, that's what happens when you follow the clues and try and seek down a killer. You end up getting near the killer, and when they kill again, you're in proximity. This is a natural evolution to my investigation.
All right, Van has to reload Discord here, but he'll hopefully be back shortly. Geplin, you're up next. Who are you, and who are your plans?
I am Geplin. I do online things, and I am playing Simon the Gentleman Adventurer, who's basically like British colonial explorer in space.
With your fancy helmet too.
Yes. Pith helmet that doesn't show up anywhere. Like I can't even find a good drawing of a sci-fi pit helmet. I want one.
It's the same coloration. It just has LEDs on the side.
Yeah, winky lights.
All right, Peter.
I'm Peter Taylor TX. I do gameplay on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm playing Mal, the resident hacker, decker, general computer guy. And yeah, so far I've been I'm new to the group, so they don't really know much about me at the moment. We'll learn.
So I'm getting some people doing yard work right outside my windows. So Van, are you back with us? If so, go ahead and start up. I'm thinking he's not here, and the leaf blower guy is walking by.
What's that? Was that for me?
Yes.
All right. I'm playing Sam Cash, and my internet connection's terrible today.
And Sam, you're some sort of officer of the law, correct? So we're going to assume that's a yes because his connection may be cutting out on us. So hopefully Van's connection will be a little more stable before too long. But I guess in the meantime, we'll try to focus on other people. So the players should be, if I set this up correctly, hanging out near the bus.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I also, assuming I've had time, obviously run this by you, Izzy. I'm going to get into my biosuit and then put on all my clothes and walk around with a biosuit under my clothes.
So,
My little airtight thing.
So I'm, the biosuit is sort of like a skin-forming, tight sort of suit situation. I have sort of visions of the suits they wear on Dune.
Yeah, potentially, I suppose. Yeah. It's self-healing and like the life support in it is ridiculous. It can keep you alive for weeks. It's got recycles everything with almost no loss. It's kind of gross, but kind of cool and very expensive.
Yes. While the local spacesuits, which I don't think anyone decided to opt for, aren't good, are only good for a couple days at most. So you actually got like the deluxe model thing.
Yep.
Yes, still suits. That's what the word I was looking for. All right. So just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything important here. So you guys had last time encountered Malahandra, who seems kind of confused why you're coming after her to some degree. In fact, she opened fire on the transport vehicle that you were coming in on, and did a fair bit of damage to it. And the clones are not too happy about that.
She was on a super double secret mission.
Yes, she mentioned that she was on a special mission that was different than what you guys were on, to check out some sort of crashed spaceship somewhere on the surface here. And Alex lied to the clones about what you guys are going to be getting up to, and that you're going to be basically leaving them behind. Is that still the case?
Yeah, they're gonna get in our way.
And Van says, "Yep." So I guess there's a couple important things I do got to ask. Are you going? How much of the stuff back at the at the base are you going to tell Malahandra about, as far as the murder or anything else of importance?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking there's still a chance that she's involved. Maybe not her personally, but she might have got infested or something with weird hacky alien signals. I don't know. Because there was the forensics that we found on the body that did match her. So it's like, maybe that was pre-mortem, maybe that was post-mortem. We don't know. So I don't know. I think she is innocent, but I don't know. You can't, like, we can't ignore her proximity to the murder and the suspiciousness around it.
Yeah, maybe she and Nikki were just making out for a while, and then Malahandra left, and then someone killed Nikki.
I mean, that
because they were jealous.
a possibility, I guess.
All right, Van says if she's willing to go on a side mission and shoot at a truck, she doesn't have to be infected with malware to be untrustworthy.
Yeah, she seemed. Oh, yeah, you guys haven't really had any dealings with her that much, whereas me and Gepwin, or rather me and Simon have. So it's like, yeah, it is a bit of a.
Well, she's loyal to Khan, not to us.
True. But she seems all right. She's not done anything particularly bad that I've seen that's proven, anyway.
Plus, the information back at base the information back at base isn't relevant to the side mission anyway, so it would just be a distraction for her. So you could just leave that out for now.
Yeah, probably.
I thought we already questioned her about the murder, though. Doesn't she know?
Yeah, she seems very confused. So yes.
Yeah, I genuinely don't think she remembers or she has any memory of the murder, either because she wasn't there or because of some weird shenanigans going on. I haven't eliminated her from being part of it. I've kind of just accepted that she genuinely has no memory of anything, and we need to find out whether it's because she wasn't there and had nothing to do with it, or whether it's because there's something else going on. I don't know yet. No, none of us know. Well, Izix knows.
I know many things. But unless there's anything else to sort of sort out, are you guys going to hike off into the wilderness after this crashed ship and leave the clones behind? Or are you going to bother them at all before you go?
I've got.
I'm up for hiking.
Yeah, I have nothing to say to them, so...
Let's take their air, though.
Let's take their truck, leave them
What was
behind.
that?
Yeah, they can walk back to the base. That'd be hilarious.
If they're in the truck, we should take their air.
So you
Well,
can.
I don't need their air, but yeah, that's cool.
So they will offer up extra tanks for you guys. So you have the main tank for your breathing devices, which lasts 24 hours, and now you each have a secondary tank, +1.
So I will still take my 2 tanks, but I don't need them, so they can go to whoever might need them later on.
Yes.
And I want to use my survival skills to ration my tank, since you said this is Everest atmosphere, and you can survive in that if you are trained.
Indeed. So Simon has some useful skills on this, and we're going to be going into some of the actual usages of them. So huzzah! You got this naturalist sort of thing going on.
Naturalist? I think that's something else entirely, isn't it?
Well, I did look, and the most applicable skill to the situation is survival. However, it does default to naturalists, so there is a small penalty, but it's not as bad as other options. So
I just always thought naturalists in real life were people who got back to nature, if people know what I mean.
and
The
got
nudist.
naked.
And got naked, yeah. Well, I mean, if Simon wants to do that, I'll recommend against it, simply because it's cold, and that might be bad for him, but hey, he's the expert.
In this context, it's the people who study nature. Yeah.
That's a less interesting context, but...
Well,
I'll
how
run with
you study nature is up to you, really. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
So I guess the important things to note is that the distance that Melandra gives to the crash will take you between 6 to 8 hours to walk there. So it is going to be a bit of a hike, but you will be able to do it within, effectively before you all get so tired you have to go to sleep. There is possibility of trying to camping out before that point, or waiting until you deal with the crash itself, and then bedding down for the night after. So there's also the matter of those who do not have spacesuits, which is everyone other than Melandra and Alex. Your cold weather gear is pretty dang good, but it's not perfect. So for every 2 hours of transit, you will be suffering 1 fatigue point of damage. So you got your hit points and you got your fatigue points. So this is the fatigue points, which is a lot less terrible to lose. And most of you guys got a number of those. However, because you're all...
Oh, go
Yes.
on. Carry on. I thought you'd finished. Carry on.
What more, you guys are also going to be doing a bit of a hike through strange and weird terrain. So there is also going to be some other things you're going to need to worry about that may be costing you fatigue as well. So do keep that in mind. So what were you saying?
The robocart that I have, it's not got a huge carry capacity, but it could probably carry 1 person along with what it's currently carrying. So if someone is starting to get really fatigued and they need a rest, then for short periods of time, I suspect that it could carry someone. I think it's 600-pound carry capacity, 300-pound. I can't remember now. I'll bring it up and see what it actually can carry. But it's quite a bit. It's enough for someone, I think. And if I've got the suit, I probably don't need it myself.
Is anyone presently marching at encumbrance? So you're basically like medium heavy or extra heavy. I don't think that's anybody.
That's why I bought the mule.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm at medium.
Dan says no. All right. Does medium count for this thing here?
Just offload stuff onto one of the robots that we've got. We've got two thingies for carrying things. So if you've got medium encumbrance, just offload some of the heavier stuff you don't need for combat or survival, and just chuck it on the hover cart or on the mule.
All right. So for 1 hour of marching with light encumbrance will cost you 2 fatigue points. So that means that, if you get there within the shorter time, you might be able to get there with some fatigue left over. Otherwise, you are probably going to need at least take a break before the end. Now, this doesn't necessarily means sleep, but it will mean basically sitting down for like an hour.
What about no encumbrance? What if anyone's at that level? Because I could probably get myself to none.
No, it says if you have more encumbrance, it'll cost more, which effectively. So you should be on the two mark as well. Anywho, all right. So I think we begin. So Gepwin, Simon, he's gonna do a naturalist roll. Because of the faults, you're going to be at -3. But the terrain here is actually pretty easy to handle. So I'm actually going to give you a +3, because this is sort of plains, rolling hills. There are occasional roads that go around in places. They're all frozen, of course, but it's just a flat surface, so you're not going to be having too much trouble. So if you roll well, you'll get there, potentially within 6 hours of travel. If you roll poorly, you are going to get there in 8 and potentially have some issues.
Oh, so it's all on me.
Yes, because you are the one who with the best skill for the situation. So
that's not good.
Well, okay. Well, before he roll, I was about to say, before I do have on me a chronometer, a GPS receiver, an internal compass, an inertial compass, and a magnetic compass, a homing beacon, and a tiny computer with a little 2D display on my super survival watch. Is that the use of any of those tools going to help with this roll?
I'm going to say a +1. So how bad is the damage, Gepwin?
Well, I rolled a 13.
And your skill is base of 9 minus then +3, then +1, so you're going to be losing it by 3. So the good news is no critical failure here, but you are going to effectively going to need the full 8 hours to make the transit, because this is more than simply getting from point A to point B, but it's also finding the best path through. So there is decisions to be made as far as navigations. So let's go bit by hour. So who has the least fatigue, I guess, is maybe the question here.
I have 9.
9. You also have 9. Alex?
Whereabouts is fatigue?
Should be on the upper right of your character sheet.
Upper
it looks
right.
Just above your HP.
Yeah.
Next to hit location.
Fatigue. L. Right. FP. That's fatigue, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
Fatigue points.
9.
Yes. That was a naturalist roll. So the first hour, you all lose 2 fatigue. So the lowest person is at 7. Actually, I forgot to bring up Eli's character sheet here. Second hour, you lose 2 plus another 1 from the cold. So you're down 5 in total.
Do I get that because I can survive in a vacuum?
You do not. So you only get the 2. But if we're going by the person with the lowest stat here, then that's how we're going to be.
Okay.
There's Eli. There he is. He has 8 fatigue actually. I forgot how much of a weenie he is.
Can I put him on the robocart and just fucking levitate him for an hour or something? God damn it.
Oh, sure. If you want to be carting him, that he might be the best option there.
If he's the one that's going to end up collapsing on us and forcing us to stop permanently, then I think that probably would be a good idea.
All right. So I'm not going to even worry about Eli's fatigue at this point, other than for the cold. So 2 hours in, most you guys are down 4 or 5. So the next hour, you guys are going to be down, 6 or 7. People are getting very, very tired, and you're only about halfway to your destination. Looks like.
Yeah, I'm down to about
Right.
2 fatigue right now.
All right.
Okay, you get 1 hour on the cart then as well. If we all take 1 hour on the cart, we might actually make it if we think about it.
There is a shelter option. I believe Alex has some equipment for that van.
Mhm.
I have a tent.
Yes. There is.
I-
I forgot about your tent.
I could fit like 4 maximum in mine though. It'll be a bit packed, but
Mine's 4 also, so we can get everybody.
cool.
All right. So Eli has only suffered 1 fatigue. Let me mark that down.
I mean, he's not going to be like on the cart for the entire duration. We need to rotate that to try and stretch this out a little bit.
All right. So are you changing him out for Mal?
Yep, at some point, just to try and keep people as good as possible.
All right. So because Eli was also on the cart for over an hour, he gets some fatigue back for resting. Once 8 fatigue guy is out of fatigue, there he starts suffering some issues and might be will start taking actual physical damage because he's exhausted and slowly freezing to death.
Great.
So there is some danger here. But because Eli took some time on the cart and was warming himself up, he's back up to full. So Mal, you gonna take your turn on the cart?
Yes, sir. Will do.
So double checking here. All right. So for each 10 minutes of rest while you're on the cart, you can regain 1 fatigue point. Sorry. So conceivably, after an hour of being on the cart, you can be back up to full.
Excellent.
So we go for the next hour. Everyone mark down 2 fatigue plus 1 for the cold if you are only wearing the normal coat stuff.
How many hours is this so far that we've been traveling?
This is 4 hours in.
Okay.
So
I've got 1 point
So
left.
I'm at full now, so I can continue walking.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
only got like 2. Maybe I can ride my donkey, but
Well,
Right,
then, if that's the case, I am going to take my turn on the cart then.
all right. You can also pause for some time to take a rest, even if it's like a half hour or something like that. So this is up to you guys to decide.
Question, I suppose, guys, is who out of us, who's got really low fatigue right now? And what is it?
everyone.
Well, some of us. I'm just thinking, are we going to be able to make it how many hours away, or are we just going to have a rest anyway?
Well, if it's 4 more hours, then that's 12 points, which none of us have.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, we're going to have a break then at some point.
So is it now or later?
How many hours away are we from the destination?
About 4.
We could do 1 more if people are able to survive on that. I don't
You're
know.
going to be
Not unless we take some kind of action. I'm at 2, and if we're taking 3 an hour, then
Okay, cool. Let's stop then.
You're-
Let's stop temporarily, get some rest, and then carry on. We can do.
you're effectively taking 2.5 an hour because once every 2 hours you take 1 from the cold. So sorry, what was the plan?
What do you think, guys?
I think we should probably rest. We're gonna need to take 2 rests for 4 hours if most people have 9.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just rest after the 4th hour then.
All right. How long are you going to rest?
However long it
How long does it
takes to
take
get
to-
our fatigue points back.
So basically, take it easy to rest up. So in an hour you can regain 6 fatigue points quite easily. If you want to get for sure all the way up, then you feel free to do more. If anyone's still lacking at that point. So,
Let's see what we get.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's going to take 10 at 2.5 an hour. It takes 10 fatigue points to go 4 hours, which means that we have to be at full and then rest again when we're almost there.
Or we take a rotation on the cat, which will buy a little bit of time.
Yeah, but we basically have to be at full at the halfway point. So we have to wait like an hour and a half to get everyone back to full.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say around this point the sun is setting. It's already crazy cold, so it's not going to get too much colder. It just can't. But the going is going to be a little more stressful potentially, but other than that, nothing too much is changing at this point.
Okay.
But so while you guys are taking a break, Melisandre is going to speak up. You two people, the new guys, who are you? I do not know you.
Well, I need one this one.
Yeah, I know Van's not really on voice right now, but Mal, you can take over for him.
I know. I didn't. I was late to the thing, and then everything opened up I needed.
Now, does that read at all?
I can hear you.
Yay.
Hey.
Okay, well, enjoy it while it lasts. I'm a detective from New West Coast City. From New West Coast. I just got here doing some work for Mr. Khan.
I see.
Mr. Khan. Yes.
I'm just a hacker from a rim world. I was also doing some work for Mr. Khan, and we had to flee due to potential press issues, and we found ourselves here. So you're basically an IT guy. I'll help you out with anything like that.
Very informative. I hope your trouble there is not going to follow us here. Ha 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 ha.
Alex is gonna chuckle with irony about a completely different thing that's followed us here.
I have a new theory. I think Alex's swarm bots are the murderers.
Oh God. So we're having a rest then.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I have. I'm gonna get out my survival module.
Gonna set up shop for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna inflate the survival module. It's gonna keep people sheltered. Air filter reducer respirator, so it doesn't technically need any oxygen tanks. It can sort of compress the atmosphere inside, so it's nice and breathable. Keeps us nice and warm.
So it takes the air from outside and basically brings up to the proper pressures and temperatures here. Correct?
Yep.
All right. I will say that is very much straining, but it is able to do this.
Okay. I've got enough seed cells to be able to keep it powered. But it takes one C cell. One C cell will last 2 weeks. So it's like it doesn't take much power to make the inside pretty livable. It can fit 4 people tops, 2 very comfortably, 4 not so much comfortable.
All right. Once you guys are all piled inside, Melisandre will poke Mal again with the question.
Yeah, I was
So
expecting-
you're a hacker.
Yes, indeed.
Tell me about that.
Well,
He does interrupt you, by the way.
yeah, I was half expecting the I want something less informative and more personal sort of attitude. Well, I was born on an outpost called Miranda. It's a mining corporation, small world. The old tech stuff that the miners used. Turned out one of those worlds where the resources weren't as rich as everyone expected. So when they left, it left me with, well, I wasn't the first generation, so that's fair enough. But it left with a lot of old tech lying around, and me being, well, inquisitive, I started poking around in the old tech at quite a young age. And once you start poking around in places you're not supposed to be, you start to learn a lot of things. Turns out some of the things you learn, people in power don't like that, so eventually people come to the conclusion that it's better if you're not around. And yeah, so I was kind of forced to leave Miranda and head out into the world. But before I did, I got a bit of experience in some sort of security, bypassing most of it, to tell you the truth, and just stealthing around facilities that needed direct access. But yeah, once you're told to leave, you don't hang around too much.
Seems like you had some trouble there. Hope that doesn't follow us here either. Ha 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 ha.
Less trouble, more. Just a few bumps, we'll say. They were very happy that I left, and they had no intention of following me as long as I had no intention of going back.
I see. Thankfully, I've never had such trouble of my own. At least I do not believe I have. Eli kind of chuckles. Well, we have been in some scrapes, but yeah, I don't think anyone's out to get us. I hope. And Eli kind of turns to Van. Van, are you able to talk at this point? Well, I can't hear you,
offline, so.
We'll make the assumption that he's struggling with his... Oh no, we can hear him typing though.
Yeah, I can hear you typing.
I don't know. I'm using the app now, so apparently it set things back to auto detect. It's really sensitive. But you guys keep cutting in and out. I don't know how much of this y'all are getting.
Or get most
All
of it,
of it.
actually.
I'm hearing all of it.
Yeah, it was good.
Very strange.
Super weird.
Discord is fucking strange though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But Eli kind of turns to you, Van. If you're able to, to continue speaking, he'll ask you. So tell us about this new West Coast place. He says he's heard of it, but doesn't know anything about it. So
It's just a planet like dozens of others. I work out of Kimber's Port. Just try to solve crimes, keep my nose clean, and do what good I can for the community.
you seem like a upstanding fellow. Then I'm glad you have with you. Well, you have with us.
Well, I have had some legal problems, which is why Mr. Khan approached me. I'm sure we all have reasons that Mr. Khan chose us to do this kind of work.
Legal problems? Are you a wanted fugitive?
I hope they don't follow us here. Ha 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 ha.
It's
Alex literally does say this, but he's like in a polite way, not in a kind of like mocking way, but in a kind of, just like light-hearted way.
She still gives you a dirty look.
Yeah, she will do. Of course she will do. I'm gonna smile and wink at her though.
Well, it's also a little difficult to tell when she's giving someone a dirty look because she just kind of looks that off.
She has that look, yeah. Is she like gotten out of her suit now that we're in the module and everything?
She's taken off the helmet, but otherwise she's left it on because it seems like a rather involved process to suit up. She turns back to Van, who's gone quiet again, apparently.
I did kind of interrupt, so that's all right.
It's all right. Okay, you're back.
Is this audio working?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. It's just an internal affairs issue. I'm just suspended until it's complete.
I see. So you wish to have some sort of employment while you were in suspension.
The union's legal defense deductible's pretty high, so to actually have adequate representation to present my case to the panel, I needed an additional source of income.
I understand. Do you mind if I asked what you did? Or they claim you did?
It's the charges are that I unlawfully shot a minor during a raid.
Why did you do that?
Kid was armed,
It
I
was a
suspect.
He say again?
I just mutter. I mutter, but not. Well, no, mutter's the wrong word. But I turned around and said, "Kid was probably armed. Anyone can hold a gun these days."
He was, and it was a good shooting, but they're still investigating 5 years later.
They
Okay.
are very inefficient.
Well, it wasn't an issue 5 years ago, but I'm sure some of you may have heard Kimbersport reputation for corruption may have preceded it. So I do my best to stay honest, and that doesn't always win you friends. So sometimes 5 years later, investigation gets started.
So I'm going to do an intelligence roll for Melandra, and she will mention that she has actually heard of Kimbersport. It's on the list of places she should probably avoid unless sent there.
Yeah, it's not great. That is accurate.
Sounds to me like a typical investigation. You see, they don't want to investigate it and find you innocent, because then people start pointing fingers. They don't want to investigate it and find you guilty, because then they got to get rid of somebody and questions get asked. And if they're corrupt, they want to get rid of you without it looking like they are. And if they're not, then they want to try and do the decent thing and save public face. They got as mad as much shit. They're in about as much shit as you. I understand, pal.
Well, these things happen every day in Kimbersport. This is just to let me know that there's always more things I could be investigated for. I'm going to pay some money, I'm going to have some time off, and I'm going to be reminded, as if I needed it, that they can get rid of me anytime I'm too inconvenient.
I hate that feeling.
It's not great.
Well, after all of our missions here are complete, maybe we can head that direction and see if we can help you.
The only help I need is in the form of credits. Then I'll get back to work, and I can keep doing that until I retire.
Very well.
I hope it works out for you, pal. I was tempted to go into the force myself after I did my time in the military, but I just figured that there'd probably be even more politics than when I was actually doing stuff for the military. Figured that it'd just probably piss me off too much.
The money's good if you're careful.
So, haven't heard from Gepwin for a while. What you up to during all this conversation?
Simon just likes to sit and listen to people most of the time when they're doing past things.
It's like, oh yeah, I remember being kind of young. Maybe.
Maybe. No one knows.
Wow, that's just like rude. I'm 51. Jeez, I'm pretty old. No wonder I've got 8 strength and 9 health, 9 dexterity. It's like physical abilities are just like way down.
I'm apparently old enough to have a hearing aid that doesn't work.
Damn.
But I suspect at some point, while you guys are, further along in the rest, Eli will come to pester you specifically, Simon, and he says, yeah, we haven't really got a chance to talk very much. So I hear you're also into archaeology and things like that.
Ah, yes. I began traveling when I was young and just wanted to learn as much. So, archaeology, biology, anything that you can find on a planet that isn't industrialized and ruined.
No, I am more on the archaeology end of things myself, but I guess I kind of get your feeling there. Though it's more of a from the academic as opposed to the love of the adventure and the wild. I guess you seem to be sort of giving that aura of.
Yeah, I don't like staying in one place for too long, but when you're in a new place, you need to have a good reason to look around and, ancient ruins. So there's people who are willing to pay for information. So it's a living, and there's not a lot of other ways to get credits as a gentleman explorer.
I understand. I guess the my financial plans kind of fell through when I didn't manage to get a postdoc or something like that after my education was complete. It just it was a little frustrating, and so I heard about this job, so I decided to sign up, and that's how I got here. It's been more crazy than I would have liked, but I've managed to keep my head on my shoulders so far. So there's that.
You have seemed a little outside your element, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah. I just never thought I'd be on some weird planet, just half frozen and hanging out with you guys here. Never my life. So it's just, but here we are.
You get used to it.
I hope so. Because I don't know, I wouldn't mind just kind of retiring at some point, maybe in the next 5 years, maybe, if I can. Probably not, actually. Well, if you need me for anything, don't hesitate to ask. Okay?
Of course, I understand. You want to tag along and ply your trade and not feel useless.
Yeah. I'm not so good at fighting and things like that, so So I hope you didn't think I was a coward when I started hiding back at the airport. It's just
Some people are fighters and some people are not, and the important thing is to know which you are before the fighting starts.
Yeah, I guess I know that already. All right. Well, I'm almost good to go here. I think everybody else is pretty close themselves. Should we pack up and start heading out?
Back on the trail.
All right. He gets up, and unless there's anything else you guys want to do before you pack up and head onwards?
I would like to. Well, I've already started doing something while things were happening. I put the little emotes there, but I'll summarize it verbally. I sort of released some little aerostat swarm bots into the module to clean it, because it needs cleaning if we're packing up. But there are also going to be my forensic bots mixed in with them as well. I've got enough computing power here and there from various places to control 2 swarms, so that's cool. And I'm gonna make sure that some of them land on people, and I'm gonna let them land on me as well, because I think they're all sort of visible, but they're not really obtrusive. I think they're how big are they actually, swarm bots?
I'd have to look it up in the book here, I suspect.
They're like grain of rice to small insect size or something. They're tiny but visible to the eye.
Yeah, that's the kind of feeling I got.
Yeah.
So we'll say about for the time being that they're of that sort of size, so people could potentially notice them, but not be as long as you're not swarming someone with them, it's probably not going to be an issue.
I'm not going to fly them up people's noses and to their eyes and ears or anything. And I'm going to make it so that some cleaning ones land on most people every now and again and do a little bit of minor cleaning. But the main purpose is to disguise the fact that some forensics ones land on Melandra, and more importantly, suddenly now, Ethan as well, because
You mean
Eli, sorry, yeah. Don't know why I said Ethan. That was weird. Eli. Because I'm suddenly now suspicious of him. And I don't know why. My gut is ringing now. Even though it's my gut, not Alex's gut. But if my gut's starting thinking there's something suspicious going on, then I'm thinking, you know what, yeah. So I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of sneaky forensics but it'll be like Mel's head, because obviously I'm not going to get them into her suit. But more specifically, Eli, maybe his hands as well. I'm getting vibes. I'm getting vibes, Isix. Why am I getting vibes off Eli now? Is it
Because
desperation?
you're suspicious, I guess.
I'm like a suspicious person. So as they clean things, I'm gonna make sure that some of them land on me and I completely ignore them, so that it's like I'm prompting people that no, they're fine. They're not gonna kill you.
All right. I guess to the other players then, are any of the other players going to be upset by this situation?
Oh my god, the stains on my coat are gone.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely will clean any stains that they find. They will clean it. They literally are cleaning swarm bots. They just sort of gently float around like tiny minuscule blimps, and then just kind of like land on things and remove dirt. They're really high tech, so they're pretty cool. They're good at it.
Ah, cool. And if I
Right.
get anywhere near my head, I'll brush them away like you would do like a mosquito getting near your head. So
That's cool.
I have no
Right,
idea
Elizabeth,
what's
right.
going on.
if asked, I will turn around and just say they're cleaning bots, cleaning the place, and if they land on you, they're just finding dirt, so it's cool.
Van, you were saying something?
As a detective, would there be any chance that I would incidentally recognize that or notice it?
Give me a perception
Ooh.
roll.
Yeah,
Unless you have
it's possible.
something specific on top of that, skill-wise.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good roll though.
All right. So
Does he have forensics?
forced entry. I don't see forensics here,
Yeah,
so
I do not have forensics. It's not my thing.
Ah,
You
that would
have
be like a
criminology, but
really,
that doesn't
yeah.
quite follow through here. All right,
Yeah, it
so
keeps us from being redundant.
Cash, you seem to suspect that there's maybe more to what he's what's going on with the bots than he's letting on, but you're not quite sure what.
Well, sounds fine.
And if there are any little marks on your clothes, any dirt, they do get cleaned away.
All right, so no one's outright objecting to these then,
nope.
Cool.
Negative.
at least as far
Yes.
as the players goes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. And there we go. And Melandra doesn't even notice when they land on her. Now Eli does, and just like kind of tries to brush them off, but he doesn't get all of them. So like, he seems mildly annoyed by sort of the idea of the insects being on him. So
I'll apologize and just say I just told them to clean the insides, and I guess you guys are at the insides of the module. So if they're really bothering you, if you're like scared of them, let me know, and I'll try and get them to avoid you. I'm gonna emphasize the word scared, because it's like you're either scared of tiny little harmless robots, or you'll let them crawl on you. That's the psychological choice I'm giving people.
well, Eli's reaction seems to be like, "Oh, mosquitoes! Oh, well, that's not an actual bug," sort of situation. So,
Yeah.
so it's sort of more instinct than anything. But I think it's time for you to roll your investigation roll.
Well, I will do my
Make
my
sure to add your
forensics roll.
make sure to add the bonus for your robots too, because they're really the ones
Absolutely.
doing all the hard work here.
They are. I'll look at the data, but ultimately, yeah. Forensics. with bots. What is my forensic score? It's a good 13, plus 3 from the bots. I made it by 8.
That's
That was a
pretty
really good. That's a bloody good roll to say as well with the bonus. That's good. I'm happy about that.
All right. So, of the player characters, you can get some basic, metrics that if you say want to store them, you can. Otherwise, you can dump them.
Well, bear in mind,
but-
I actually explicitly did not put forensics on the players. It was purely they got the cleaning mods.
I'm saying you're so well. You got just sort of random
shit,
bits of
yeah,
information
okay.
about them as well.
I'm delete it. I'm not interested.
All right. As far as Eli goes, you get nothing out of the ordinary. You do get a couple cell samples that you can potentially hold on into your files, but nothing like blood or something like that on him or anything like that.
Okay.
Melisandre, though, you get a perfect match for the semi-organic materials you found in the shuttlecraft. Around when you're doing the investigations back there. What more? You also get a few traces of blood.
Specifically, Natalie's blood or whatever her name was.
It seems pretty close. You'd have to do a little bit more direct research to do full genetics makeup, but that seems a little suspicious. Yeah.
I just want to point out that I think I've established that my character's ready to go full departed on Melisandre for no reason. Right, one reason.
By the way, did you ever give her back her weapons?
Yes, I would have,
Yes.
Well, maybe once we're
including the destroyed rifle.
Yeah.
Unless anybody actually objected.
Well, if you go on a mission, you're going to need your weapons. And also, did you try to solder the barrel back on with your laser? But here you go, it's new now.
I feel like it might need a gunsmith and some decent gunning, machining equipment to maybe repair a barrel of a high-tech rifle. So, might require. I don't know. Does she even bother taking the remains with her?
She will take the bulk of the weapon, but left the sawed-off part of the barrel behind. It'll basically require a replacement of the barrel.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But, so that's
Okay.
new information you got.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
And you're getting this around the time Eli is like, well, we're about rested up and let's get going.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. I'm cool to carry on going.
All right. So you guys pack up and head onward?
Yeah, we should probably walk to really close to the thing and then camp for the night since it's getting dark.
All right. So we'll say that you guys lose about the same level of fatigue getting to your next stopover, and you can if you guys are planning to camp down for the night, then we'll just skip to that point. So you're now 4 hours in. You are fairly close, within say 20 minutes according to Melisandre of the destination, and it's now very dark outside. It's probably best to just wait until morning. And you guys are taking a break. Is there anybody going to do anything before going to sleep?
I feel like we should set up
I
a watch
failed.
rotation without Melisandre.
Yeah, at this point, there's nothing
So
for us
watch.
to do, really.
Yeah. Oh, could you remind me, Izzy?
Yeah.
The semi-organic thing that we found at the murder scene on the ship, was that found on the victim, around the victim, or in the victim's wounds? I can't remember now. It's been too-
On and around, but not in.
Okay, so it's basically if they danced before Melisandre went off on her mission, that would be sufficient for contamination.
Conceivably, yes.
So basically, it's meaningless. It's circumstantial at best. All I can do is prove that they were in close proximity, which we all already knew because we were on a fucking ship together. So it's like, okay, fair enough. The blood sample's interesting though. Okay, that's fine. Cool, I'm done.
All right, so you're in your shelter. You guys mentioned watch.
I tried to camouflage the camp and tracks, but I failed it by 2, so I guess I didn't do that good a job.
All right. So that may have circumstances. I was actually going to ask about that sort of thing. So it's good you're on top of that. So who wants to do first watch if you are doing them at all?
How long is the night on this planet?
It is. I had this somewhere. Where was that? Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves.
But I'll take the first watch anyway.
All right.
I think
what do
we should have
have?
2 people doing each watch. That this is between us guys, but I would say that unless Melandra insists on doing a watch, then yeah, we should do 1 person per watch. But if she insists, then it should be 2 people per watch.
Yeah, for safety. You never know.
She understands you're kind of suspicious of her right now, so she will let you have her not take a watch.
Sounds good. So was that 5 of us?
So the
Yeah, that's
night.
plenty.
You're not entirely certain on how long the night is, but it is going to end up being about 10 hours. You're already a couple hours into the night, so.
Okay.
So we can march a couple hours back out of the night. So what, 6 hours down maybe? 6 hours of sleep acceptable to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds cool to me.
Cool. So, could be a stickler about missed sleep rules, but we're going to not worry about that today. You get plenty of rest.
I do have deep sleep. Is that
and,
going to be a problem for anything?
You're a deep sleeper? Well, we'll see here.
Okay, just making sure.
First watch then.
So what order is the watch going in?
I'm
Whoever's
first.
the deep sleepers first. I'm not waking anybody up for my watch.
That's why I chose first.
All right, so you're first. All right. So who's second?
I'll go
I can-
second. Whatever.
You know, in real life, sometimes people resolve things with chance as well. Does anybody have a die?
Oh, I'm going to be resolving something with chance here.
Yeah, there's gonna be chance at the DM's end, so there's no point chancing it here as well. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be someone at random. So yeah.
So if so you guys roll off to figure out the order after Mal then.
Unless anyone objects or needs a specific shift.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say that Mal, during your shift, you are going to get that funny, ping to your IP port again.
Okay.
Are you going to let it through?
Hell no. Not after last
All
time.
right.
And with no one else around to secure the situation, no. If it was also around, I might consider it, but if everyone's asleep, I'm not going to risk it.
All right. Then I will have a roll, and it tries again a few times, but it gives up.
Okay, excellent.
And if I'd rolled pretty well there, you might have had some issues. But anyway. So other than that strange occurrence, your bit of watch goes pretty normal.
Just say though, when I mind my watch, I'll let the person know who's relieved me that I got the pings again, so to keep an eye on me just in case.
All right. Cool. So I'll set up the numbers like that. And so that means, Simon, during your watch, roll me perception check.
Uh-oh. Please tell me you have a good perception.
I do not, and that failed by 3.
Oh.
All right. And so, in that case, it's you miss the early signs, but at some point you suddenly realize that the strange mechanical sounds that you're hearing aren't just the compressors of your shelter, it's something outside the shelter.
Uh-oh.
You should definitely go out and investigate it alone.
Oh god, yeah. It might be the fuse box that's gone, and you need to go down
I
to the basement to
I
sort
think
it
I
out.
have to.
Oh shit! You failed your impulsive roll. No. Ah!
Oh no!
I go
you're-
and investigate.
So you throw on your coat, your breathing apparatus, and you did in fact fail your thrill seeking, and you spot perhaps just a couple dozen yards away a rather large looking robot. Similar to the one you've encountered back at the main base, but quite a bit larger. So the good news is it seems to be walking past you guys.
I will stay and observe.
All right. It is going to make another perception check. And it fails to notice that the situation with the tent has changed, that there's something new to investigate about it. So it's going to continue on its merry way, and it's going to walk on past you guys and into the night.
Alright, I'll just brief whoever's next about that when we change shifts, but
All right. So you tell the next person. We'll say that's Van, and then by morning, the sun is starting to come up again, and you guys are still in one piece. So hooray!
That is good.
Cool. Do we have coffee?
Do you?
I don't know.
I have a cigarette.
That's like having a lot of jelly and bread. Where's the peanut butter?
Oh,
peanut butter.
no.
We don't have any butter knives. All right. So, unless there's objections, we can move on to the next. Get you guys back on the road. Then is that cool?
No objection.
Yeah, let's keep going.
All right. So then, give me a moment. You come over a hill and see something rather amazing. A trail of debris starting from a few hundred meters off and heading off to the northwest. Though it's some distance out yet, you can see a pile of what looks like debris at the very far end, poking up over a small ridge. So this is what you find a few minutes later. That if it was still nighttime, you would have like potentially wandered past this. So it's good you guys decided to camp out.
Cool.
So then, what you guys doing?
head
gonna
over
give it-
towards the junk pile.
Yeah, see what's going on.
Okay, cool. You could always tell me it's like, well, found it. Let's leave.
We could
Alright.
do, but not quite that impulsive. Well,
Well, maybe, but
yeah.
As you get near, you start to make out the general skeleton of what was once a large spaceship. However, it's been thoroughly torn apart. But even from this distance, you can tell that the cuts made to the core of the crash were not caused by the crash itself. In fact, there appears to be a number of girders and panels laid out in well-organized patterns off to the side. Further into the core, mass appears to be a large pile of yet-to-be scoured material, and also you see some movement just over that rise.
Can anyone tell how long this ship's been here?
Well, someone got a relevant skill to give you a roll?
Archaeology at it. Aw.
Well, I mean, the
missed it by
furrows
one.
it
All my
drove into
skills
the ground
suck.
should be worn down by weather, right?
There's not much weather here. It's, the most of the weather comes through via wind, other than, precipitation.
based on the debris and the damage, can we tell if it came down because of something that happened to it in space, or did it land and then, but damage was done afterwards? Basically,
From the trail of debris, it seems to imply heavily that this probably crashed.
right. So the debris behind it, not in front of it. Because if it crashed in first, it would have shot debris forward. If it came down because of damage, it would have left debris behind it. Okay.
So to get on you, Gepwin, your general impression of this is that first off, it's a human spaceship of some sort, given the sort of the design and occasional bits of material you pass that has very human lettering on it. It looks to be some sort of Cyrillic and Latin characters. But other than that, you can't quite tell much about it until you get potentially look at the main bulk of the crash.
Mal, I thought you said this was an alien spaceship.
I did not know its origins, just that it was an unknown spaceship of some sort.
Right. So, is there a cultural or regional group that uses the Cyrillic alphabet?
That's a very good question. There are a number of planets that are very centric to some Earth culture, sort of analogous, like Space Australia. But there are, as far as the major governments goes, there is the Mirmehaki Empire, which has a large percentage of its founding peoples were originally from Russia and Eastern Europe and some other areas related to that. So it is perhaps the most likely major government to be responsible in that case.
I don't know if my knowledge rim does anything, but that's the -1 to that.
All right. You would hazard to guess that this could potentially be a scout ship of some sort, given its size and the general location and the fact that it's probably been here for a while. Because this is you guys are presently fairly out in the rim as is, so just sort of putting two and two together. And all that. And you guys aren't super duper far from the territories of the Mirmehaki. So it is quite conceivable that this is sort of the case here.
All right. I'm going to fall back. I'm going to encourage Melisandre to do whatever she came here to do, and I'm going to keep an eye on that movement.
You said there was some of the debris was put in little piles to the side, like it being cut out. So I just want to look around, make sure there's none of those robots we saw earlier that were getting resources around here.
Now, I will mention that there did appear to be some movement by the main bulk of the crash, and the arranged stuff is pretty close to that. So, just sort of an FYI there if you're going to be sneaking in that general direction. So, still on that plan of action?
Yeah, what do you roll to sneak?
Well, there are, I believe, some stealth skills. I
actually have stealth, so that's useful.
All I have is camouflage.
So,
I have
stealth.
shadowing, but there is a stealth skill.
Yeah, I have stealth. It's a 9.
Yes, stealth will default to Dex or IQ at -5. So, you guys. So I guess the question is, who is going to be sneaking up, if any?
Hey, I'm pretty smart. I can sneak all right.
Yeah, I'm going to pull my gun out and I'm going to start sneaking because I don't know what the situation is. I'm with Van on that one. And I'm going to use my stealth to make sure if there's anything around we don't get spotted, hopefully.
All right, everyone who is going forward to the main bulk of the crash, give me a stealth roll.
Well, that's a fail.
So is that IQ -5? IQ -5? Oh my god, critical fail. Well, we know they know. Do I even need to roll at this point? I mean,
Peter is going to be spotted.
Well, I failed by 6 as well because I rolled awful.
For me, it's like I pull the gun out of the holster and it fires off like 4 rounds randomly. So, oh, well, that's stealth.
Yeah, don't worry, we all failed. You really, really failed, but I failed as well. Good God.
Yeah, Melisandra's pretty obvious too, by the way.
I just turn around to everybody and go, "We're stealthing."
Eli's actually gonna, creep up with you guys, but he's going to be basically in the back. So I will say then that, for better or worse, you guys climb over the hill and find yourself presented with this situation.
That's a cluttered landscape. God damn.
Yes. So you guys are in the lower right here of the map. As you get closer, you see very much that there is, what appears to be the main bulk of the spaceship torn apart around you, as well as what looks like a smaller spaceship that's kind of partially buried underneath it. Also, there's a big giant robot here, similar to the design of the alien robots. It seems to be poking at some stuff. And Simon actually recognizes as the one from last night.
I was going to ask.
Yes.
Can I see all this from way back here in the sensible zone?
If you poke your head over the ridge line, which I'm going to say is basically somewhere around this general vicinity where you guys are popping up, I will say that you will be able to see this. And there is the rock there, but it's not super large. You can see over it. So.
Roger that.
So you can, everyone is able to see. Eli will be hanging back with you. Alejandro will be kind of in this general direction, and you guys arrange yourself that corner of things as you like. It's now time for the robot to perceive, and yeah, it perceives Peter.
I wonder how it knew.
The good news is, though, that it doesn't seem to be moving to, attack you guys or anything like that. So, what you doing?
You think you can hack it?
I can try. It worked well with the last one, but we had to plug into it. This one's active, so maybe there's a signal I can try it with. Alright, just going to probe to see if there's any signals from this thing.
All right, give me a computer hacking sort of skill here.
Okay, and that is a fail.
You hacked yourself.
I mean, I have an 11 to hack.
That's two critical fails in a row, man. I'm pretty sure that's a crit fail. 5 and a 6 and a 6. It sounds like the critical range.
Well, you didn't technically miss it by 10, but I'm going to say you think you've hacked something.
Well, my
but you're
hacking's
not
11.
sure what it is.
So my hacking's 11, so I didn't miss it by 10, luckily.
Oh, fair enough.
It's not quite as bad as 10.
You think you've hacked something, but you're not sure what it is. It might just be a ghost. You're not quite sure.
Yeah, and I'm guessing with my overconfidence, I probably don't realize it.
Correct.
Nice.
So you're in the
I'm in, guys. Right, first thing I want to check is current orders. That kind of make sure it's if it doesn't perceive and it's not a danger, I'm gonna not want to do anything to it and aggravate it. So first thing is what's the current orders?
So you probe this system for what the current orders is, and you get back basically an echo of your command.
Oh god. Stop hacking yourself. Stop hacking yourself. Stop hacking yourself. Stop hacking yourself.
You don't know what I'm doing right now.
No, I know. It's just player comments.
Okay. That's not one. Okay, let's try a couple of security protocols to see if we can access any deeper information. And I'm guessing I get back basically.
Roll?
Yeah.
No, give me another hacking roll.
Yay, that one passed. Not a good thing, unfortunately, but that's a good pass.
Yeah, you query the security protocol systems, and you basically get back a blurb, warning, this is, Mal's, Beta Tucker's, hardware. Do not touch. Go away. So it's pretty clear that you managed to
I recognize
basically invert your signal somehow.
Okay, and I now stop hacking myself and go, okay, this one's smart. It somehow reflected my signal back on me.
Eli will say, that's not good. what do we do? Melahandra's like, well, I need to check out that spaceship, so I'm going to go around and try to avoid the robot.
I will give it a
Would you
second.
mind covering me?
Yeah, I will give it a second hack attempt in a moment once I've cleared up my system from being hacked.
All right.
If we're not in combat yet, I guess I'll get set up to cover.
All right.
Yeah. I will position myself around this massive boulder, which I assume is cover, and then I will aim carefully and sneakily at the robot with my heavy pistol. And if it starts making any moves, I'm going to open fire. But I am aiming at this point.
I'm just going to pop here because I'm going to clear my deck and then try one more time. I only ever tried twice, but if I try again, and if it fails, then I'm in a position to fight if needed.
All right. Give me a roll.
Okay, well, fair enough. Hacking's not going to happen today.
Yeah, you're unable to scrutinize it very well. You know, you can sort of get a sense that it does have some sort of communication system, but it's not quite working for you at all.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Anything else before I start doing other things?
If our plan to be quiet is, if I'm aware that it's up, I'll go over the ridge and join the rest of the party.
All right.
Did we manage
I'll
quiet?
stipulate that I'm taking aim.
Right. So you got your. So, So I guess this is the sort of situation you're seeing right now. Eli is hanging back with you, but everyone else has sort of moved forward. Melahandra's kind of trudging over, and she's not really trying to hide at this point.
All right, I'll catch up with the rest of them then.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that still cover from that rock? Can't tell the angle of it.
Yeah, these rocks aren't super tall, but you can sort of crouch down behind
Yeah,
them.
any cover is better than no cover if something goes for you.
Yeah.
Now my deck's out of action for this, I'm going to move there.
Melahandra will move a little bit further on, and the robot will start into action. Oh no.
Oh God.
So I think it's time for us to enter combat phases here. So Melahandra, does she notice that she's now potentially in trouble because the robot's now, turned slightly to look at her? Melahandra does not notice that the robot has noticed her,
Oh, good God.
and will continue sort of calmly walking towards the spaceship over here. She seems to think she sees a hatch over there somewhere. So next up is going to be Simon, I believe. What you doing?
Is the robot looking threatening?
It has, effectively turned slightly towards Melahandra, and it seems to be following her, but it has not moved from its current location so far.
I shoot it.
All right. By the way, what are you shooting it with?
Net gun.
All right. That's the
That was
the
my
electro net.
impulsive roll, by the way.
What was that? You cut out for a moment.
That was my impulsive roll. To
Oh,
see
okay.
if I shot it or not.
So you are. Looks like you're shooting. So give me an
Yeah.
attack roll here.
Nade attack, electro stun net. That's against a 14. Hit. Assuming,
All
my base hits. I don't know.
right. So it's. Does it notice that you are over there, Raven? The robot.
Oh, and I took aim before we started. So.
Yes. So add your accuracy to the attack roll. The robot does not know that there is an attack coming from that general direction, so it does not decide to dodge. So I still need to. I believe it's the health roll for these, right?
Yeah, it does fatigue damage.
Yes, 2d fatigue damage, and also because it's electrical, I'm gonna go and do a health roll to see if it gets disabled here. It's going to pass that, so it is not disrupted at all. I might be missing, just FYI, if I screw up any of the rolls here, we'll get it better next time. But it passes the health roll, so it is not going to be disabled. But go ahead and do that stun damage for me.
That's
That
2.
fatigue damage. Yes, roll 2d. 6.
Oh, goody, 6.
All right. I will.
Almost average. Almost average.
All right. There we go. All right. So that's your action there. So are you gonna do anything else? You could still potentially move.
Hunker down.
All right. So it's now ensnarled in a electro net.
Reloading if I can do that.
Does your net do damage over time, or is it just a one shot sort of zap?
I think it's a one-shot zap the way we made it.
Okay. Your cotton's pretty neat, by the way. All right. Next up is Cash. What's your action, if any?
Yeah, no action. This is a problem that's solving itself.
All right. So you're going to effectively take no action. Then we move on to Baal. What you up to?
I will actually take aim, but I will not fire unless it moves.
Okay. And then Alex.
Well, if we're going to try and capture this thing alive or disable it with the net, then I suppose I can help with that. I'm going to stop aiming with the heavy laser, and I'm going to quick draw my my sonic stun pistol, and I'm going to shoot it with that.
All right. Give me a hit roll.
So, beam pistols, which is this. No modifiers from this range or anything? Oh, I know. It's actually accuracy +3, isn't it, for a sonic stun pistol? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Let's see what the accuracy is. So yeah, I made it by 7.
All right. So yeah, that should be more than enough here. Yeah, I'm not being too picky about the range right now because you guys are pretty close and it's pretty big. It's like huge. So we'll just hand wave it and say it's canceling each other out. That means less math for me right now. So it is now more aware that there's something attacking it. So it is going to try to dodge. I'm going to say that because it's caught up in net, it has say a -5, which is pretty terrible. So it's going to be hit. So it's going to, I believe it's a health roll to resist the stun, correct?
It's a -3 and then in brackets 5, which is normally an armor reducer, isn't it, in the bracket? So I have to admit I'm not too up on some of the wordings on this pistol, but it's HT -3, then in brackets 5, then AFF.
So it is also a robot. So this is going to be sort of behaving a little differently as far as this sort of stuff goes. So it's not going to be necessarily a straight up stun there. Where is it? Stats. All right, it will miss that. So let me double check this real quick. There's a lot of rolls here to juggle. All right. Well, let's say for this case, because of its unique situation, that it will take some damage from this, actually. So roll me 1d6.
Okay.
So it's disrupted in some fashion. All right. So remember, these things are partially cobbled together by, well, perhaps each other.
Fair enough.
Out of spare parts and things like that. So your stun gun hits it, and one of its upper limbs sort of seems to be acting a little strange now, like you hit it somewhere in the shoulder region that's not quite able to actuate its servos as well before.
Okay.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Now it's the robot's turn because Eli's cowering in the back. The robot decides that there's a lot of stuff going on here right now. And it's going to... well, its arms are going to try to work to get this net off of it. So I'm going to need a dex roll. And it's actually going to fail, so it's going to take a couple turns to get out of that. While it's doing that, its third arm on top with the big laser gunny thing. He's going to try to shoot at Melandra.
Melandra, duck!
And its large laser pistol, cuts very close to her, but it actually misses.
Damn.
Melandra's like, what? And it's now actually her turn. So she is going to pull out her laser pistol and fire back. It's like, holy crap, robot. And she will successfully hit, and she'll be able to do a fair bit of damage since I didn't say beforehand, but she's going to be doing a full number of shots, which means that she is going to have 4 of them hit. So 86, 10, 16, 27, and 39 there. Of course, minus the armor of the robot. Did any of those actually get through? Nope. So the laser hits the robot, and it sort of gets absorbed by its heavy armor.
Damn.
She's like, uh-oh. And she moves quickly over here. So, Simon, what's up?
It takes me like a full turn to reload this thing, doesn't it?
Yes. I will say that while you're reloaded, you can move if you need to get into a better position.
And this probably works if I can hunker down and avoid being shot at.
Yeah, if you get like full cover while you're reloading.
Yes. Yeah, you can quite easily do that.
Hey, I'll do that then.
Meanwhile, Mal over there still has his big sirens going off.
Wow.
Next up is Cash.
I'm going to aim at the robot but not do anything else. If I need to shoot at him, I'll be in a better spot for it.
All right. So you're going and aiming. And Alex?
I'm gonna pump another stun shot into it, I guess.
All right. Give me a roll. Don't include your accuracy this time because you're just firing off.
Okay, no problem. Made it by 2.
All right. It is going to be trying to actively dodge again, but once again -5. It fails to dodge. Give me. I'm going to do the health roll. Fails that. Do me that D of damage again. All right. It seems to be you hit it in a different location, so it seems to be wobbling in a different direction, but it seems still to be fairly on top of things here. All right. It's time for the robot again. It needs to make a decision. It's going to decide poorly. So it's going to turn this general direction. Like, my target is missing. What was going on over here? And it is going to attempt to move. So, need a little measure thing here.
Is it escaped the net?
Oh, that's a good point. So it's going to be definitely at a reduced move. So, which is actually very good for you guys. So it's going to try to get further than this, but that's as far as it's going to go. Going to try another dex roll to get out of the net. It is going to fail, but it's a bonus from it from last time. Its dex is just terrible. That's Melandra. Yeah. It's probably gonna take another couple more rounds, but it is starting to move in your general direction, guys. Giant hulking robot with a laser on top. Melandra sees it kind of poking out, and she's going to start aiming her gun at its backside as it kind of comes around the corner.
I'm gonna look at Simon and see if I can get an idea as to, are we gonna carry on trying to stun this thing, or are we actually gonna like try and destroy it now?
But the electric net's just my best chance at taking it down.
Okay.
All right. So what you doing, Simon?
Electric net number 2.
Give me an attack roll.
Let's see if I can do the math part of this right.
I mean, that was
very
doesn't look good.
No.
Right, you rolled 3d6.
Right.
No,
Yeah, I
it'll be
think-
14 minus 3d6.
Yes. So you actually made it by 5.
Hooray!
Hey! It's going to, once again, try to dodge. It fails too. Go on ahead and do the thing.
All right, it's still 2 whatever.
Yeah,
Fatigue.
yes.
And 7 did electric damage.
All right. It seemed this bit of shocking seems to do quite a bit more disruption to it, and in fact, it stops moving.
Yay.
So you seem to have disrupted the bot here.
Cool.
So what you guys doing?
I guess we should make sure that we follow that up and take it
Well,
out properly.
Yeah, if it's not going to shoot at us, Mel should, not Malhandra, should go try to plug
Yeah, if I
a
can
port
get
into
to
the
it, I
damn
can
thing.
plug right into it and try and get access to it this time around.
All right. I will say that you guys are at least at the moment, out of combat. So if you want to go up and run up and do that while everyone else covers you, you are allowed to do.
Okay, cover me and doop.
Yep, I will cover him and I will aim. This time I'm going to aim my heavy laser pistol at it because that's more lethal. And I'm going to just steadily aim in case it decides to, suddenly blades start coming out there and start carving up our friend.
Cool. All right.
The one that we encountered in the lab, it does have all of its sensors in its head, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. At least all the ones you get to track down.
So it has a neck.
Sort of. It's very kind of high shoulders sort of situation, but yeah.
Right. But in theory, it has a neck that it swivels its sensor package on, and shooting that neck would take it out, would blind it.
Conceivably, yes.
I assume it's something like a cow or a buffalo sort of stature with this
And, yeah. So you guys, you can make called shots if you so wish. It will provide a penalty to the shot, though, just sort of an FYI.
I wanted to go up to help cover and just point my actual solid slug gun at something that looks vulnerable.
All right. So, given that it's not moving and is presently non into any sort of defensive position, you can find quote the chink in its armor sort of situation, and have a pretty good chance of doing some real damage to it.
A pretty good place would be where the port is. I plug in, because once you open the flap for that, it'll expose internal circuitry.
All right, I'm just being ready for something to go wrong.
Well, Mal discovers that the design is very similar to the one you ran into before, but there is some anatomical differences due to general design changes from basically scaling it up. So give me a perception roll to see if you can track it down at all as far as the physical port.
And perception.
I'm going to give you a
Yes,
plus
that's
3 to
pass.
this, by the way.
It passes
Stop
a bit-
rolling sixes.
Well, it passed without the positive, so I'm alright.
All right, so you're able to find a place to plug in. Do you do so?
Yes.
All right,
Yes, we
give
do.
me a computer hacking roll.
Okay. 3 no 6s that time. And a pass by 1.
Hooray! All right, so you're able to get into its central system. It's presently in standby mode because something has disrupted its power systems, and it is sort of in a I'm not sure what to do now. I'm not sure if my body exists.
Right, I want to do 3 things. I want to find out what's its previous orders, because I would like to know what things were there for, where it came, where its base is, and then I want to shut it down to actually turn it off so it doesn't get anything, any updates.
All right, so it's the
So-
previous orders is pretty straightforward. The previous orders was to collect materials from this location from unknown vessel. There is also several extra specifications like proprietary this sort of materials these, ignore these entirely, as well as to explicitly leave this smaller spaceship here alone entirely.
Okay, I won't let everyone know about that small spaceship being a target that it was told not to touch. So for some kind of priority on that vessel being intact.
Can you find any kind of like home base and or passwords for said home base?
That's my next check is to find where its base is from. Is it nearby or is it back at the beginning?
Home base gives some sort of weird coordinates that after a little processing you can sort of determine is either near or close to the location where the shenanigans for the main mission is sort of taking place.
Okay, so it's from the original form of robots that we're supposed to investigate anyway. Okay. Any passes? We did try the other one, and I think I got passes before for any door with a triangle on it. Can I try and get a different set of passwords for this one?
Give me another hacking roll because passwords a little bit more secure.
Would that be hacking, or would that be the security operations?
Security operations.
Because that's a high level, so I like that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you
and I beat it by half.
Oh, nice. Oh, you find all sorts of protocols of various interests, and you can probably just download a bunch of them.
Yep, I'll download all those.
You're pretty certain that it's not exhaustive list of what might be needed at some point down the road, but it is, as far as this kind of model of robot, it is probably everything you probably need to know.
Okay, so we've got a whole load more potential access.
Yes.
All right.
And in fact,
I may have misheard earlier. Did it say that the coordinates it gave you was for our home base?
No, its home base
no.
are where we were supposed to investigate for the primary mission.
Yes. So pretty close to where that swarm robots and the weird particle beam is coming from.
I just want to make sure. Thanks.
Okay, we've got the passwords. We know where it's from. We've got its orders, which means it's nothing overly special. Time to make sure it doesn't wake up and cause some problems. Let's just turn it off.
All right. You are able to turn it off.
Excellent. And to let everyone know it's safe, it's turned off.
We didn't establish this physics. Can I reload my nets?
Yes.
Okay, then I recover my nets from the robot.
Okay. Because your other stuff, is a little bit more tricky. A bullet or, a dart
syringe, yeah.
that actually leaves the material within the person it's probably not going to work. So, the robot's disabled. You guys are within the wreckage / next to a spaceship. What you doing?
Well, this little spaceship has some kind of interest that they want to make sure it's always intact. So we should be at least nosing at that. So I'm just going to have a quick wander.
Dang it, I cannot pass an archaeology roll to save my life.
I should have a nosy of this thing. Is it if I can see anything under the wreckage? Because obviously there's another ship on top of it right now.
So the various bits of wreckage and things like that very much seem like they were a spaceship that were on top of this smaller one. Like this one maybe was attached to the larger one as they crashed down. And so you can very much, this close up, make out the smaller one without too much trouble, as well as see potential hatches, a couple places on the sides. Okay. As far as your archaeology roll, Gipwin, it's like, yeah, it's a spaceship. I don't know what to make of that. It's about all you get. I will say that, because it's pretty obvious, there is more of the, very humanish writing on the side. It's a long serial number sort of situation. But doesn't say any sort of like this is the ship, this or something like that.
Okay, I'll make a note of that serial number for the future because I have a feeling that we might be able to run that one into something.
All right. I think I wrote it down a number somewhere, but I'm not sure where that is. So somewhere around here, maybe. Where did I put that? I don't know. It's
I'll just write down small ship serial number.
Small ship serial number. All right. Anyone else want to do something? Yeah. Otherwise, Belahandra's going to try to crack open that hatch.
I'm gonna
stand back.
Well, I'm gonna make it so that if anything bursts out the hatch, it'll get her, not me. So I'm off to the side. But otherwise, I'm gonna, cover her and keep an eye on things.
What was that, Van?
I'm just watching the perimeter.
All right. Eli's gonna kind of coming up here and gently poking at the robot to make sure it's really dead or shut down. Melisandre is going to make a roll to get in the ship. She is able to pull open the hatch successfully, and nothing jumps out at her. There is the sound of some air escaping, but otherwise the interior seems to be similar pressure to the outside world here. She looks at everyone and shrugs.
I was expecting xenomorphs, but
And there's that monkey from the end of the bad Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh yeah, and it jumps on your face and just really annoying for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to head in, she says.
yeah, I'm gonna
I'll
follow in behind her. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see things.
All right. So I don't have a separate map for the interior of the spaceship, but it is pretty cramped. There is room for everyone here if they want to all pile in, but otherwise...
Yeah. For reference, they're going to the big ship or the smaller ship?
The smaller ship. The big ship is in pieces all around you.
I want to walk into
not...
what was left of the debris and just investigate whether they're going to the smaller one first. I was just checking. I am following.
All right. So you guys, feel free to sort of investigate whatever you like. I will give the general rundown of the interior of this small ship. It's very cramped. It's also very cold, like everything outside, and it's also very dark. But it seems to be a small, lander sort of ship. There is, some advanced systems. It also seems like a very old design. In fact, you guys have never seen anything quite like it. It's just that old. Up at the front, though, you do see the big windows out the front where light is coming in, as well as a small blinking light on the dashboard.
I don't touch blinking technology.
It's one of those things. You've opened a hatch and there's a blinking light. It's either a message or auto destruct.
Okay. Well, what do I think it is? I've got spacer. I've got ship handling. I've got computer operation. What do I think is going to be this blinky light?
Well, you can go up and have a look at it if you like.
I am gonna potentially have a look at it, assuming that it's part of the ship and not like a box that's got lots of curled, coily wires going into like some,
the light,
box of dough.
The light seems like a general part of the console. It seemed, and in fact, it's well labeled. It says main power, and it's a button.
Also, this would power up the ship if I pressed this button.
Hypothetically.
Why do I feel that this is an immensely bad idea? No, you know what? I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm going to examine more of the ship first, I think.
All right. Give me an investigation of some sort. And
can that be a specific thing to do with, like,
sort of
Spacer,
Spacer could also work on this case, too. I will say this is sort of to get a general feel of what this place is all about.
So I'm going to give you a perception with my expert vision eye thing, because I'm assuming vision is a key part of this.
Yes.
Cool.
By the way, Melisandre is not. She's trying to figure things out, but she's being very slow about it. She made it by 2.
I made it by 2.
All right, you figure out that this isn't indeed a lander craft. It is a class you've never seen, but it's something called a skipper, which is similar to the landing craft you guys took down, but it's just a much older design. You track down some of the labels and things like that, and you very quickly could. This is probably of a Mirame hockey design and usage. You also find that there is it's basically designed to be short range. you can maybe enter hyperspace. You'd have to investigate the controls a little bit more closely, but it is more for the main ship leaves hyperspace and it lands, and if it needs to potentially enter hyperspace itself, it can maybe do that. What other things do I need to be making sure I mention here? What more? You find that it has a few registration numbers that include dates that seem to be coming from the late 2400s.
How long ago was that again?
900 years ago.
Damn.
So, yes, it's been here a while.
So it's really, apart from salvaging the metals, it's probably not worth very much unless there's some weird data in its historical database that somehow survived.
But whatever it is worth investigating, because secret orders and also with the big robot thing's been told not to touch it. Something's got planned for this to be intact, and we're worth sending a team to investigate.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly suggests there's more to meet the eye, more than meet the eye. So I'm going to carry on looking around to see if I notice anything unusual. I know it's an old ship, and I'm not going to be familiar with this level of tech because I'm TL10 with my ship stuff. But yeah, I'm going to investigate more and see if anything stands out to my pilot training and ship knowledge.
Well, I will say that as far as the general tech level, it's very similar to the one you guys have presently. It just sort of the design ideas behind it are different. It's sort of like, walking into a McDonald's from when you're from like Thailand or something like that. It's very similar, but there are things going to be different.
Okay.
I don't look around the main console, looking for anything that might be out of place with this little ship, because I want to be turn this on at some point. But I'm not going to do it just yet. People finish their investigations first.
I will say, because there isn't anything out of the ordinary, that there's nothing really sort of the main console. Other than that one light for the power button, everything seems completely dead.
Okay. Is everyone finished their investigations?
There's no panels that are like ripped open or whatever, so. Anyone else want to do anything?
Well, I'm going to ask Melandra and say, so what do you think, Mel? You want to fire this thing up? Is this what you're here for?
I suspect so. The reports on this crash were insufficient for what we have observed so far. So that would be my next impulse.
I'm going to look around and see if anybody gives me any objections visually or otherwise, and then I'm just going to see if I can start a sequence of powering it up.
I'm just going to make a suggestion that just in case anything happens, the minimum number of people inside would be a better idea.
Well, okay, that's fair enough.
So first off, who's going to be pushing the button?
Me.
And who else is going to be inside?
I'll be inside in case this machine needs to be turned off forcefully.
And everyone else is outside then?
And I'm going to put my biosuit to make sure that my biosuit... Well, it's probably all... I've probably got it all on anyway, because we're technically still exposed to the atmosphere, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm outside, still watching the perimeter.
Yes. Cash, give me a perception roll.
It's good. It's a damn good roll.
My perception 10.
All right. Because you are watching, the perimeter, actively, and you got your roll pretty well. I will say that you, somewhere off in the distance, perhaps, further back on the debris trail, you think you might see some movement.
All right, going to keep an eye on it and keep an eye on everything else, but mostly on that.
Okay. So, Alex, you pushing the button?
Yeah, whatever the sequence is to fire this thing up, I'm going to fire it up.
As Alex presses the button, I just shout, "Fire in the hold!"
The engines fire up and everything explodes. No. You push the button.
No!
And, it gives a pleasant chime, and it starts, and you start hearing systems sort of come on, creaking to life, like like old lights that haven't been turned on for ages, sort of flickering on here and there. A few things do sort of come on for a second, then go dark again because something's obviously broke about that system. But a good portion of the interior of the console or the ship does light up, and yeah, so it seems to be at least have minimal power.
I'm gonna pat the side of the console and smile to myself and say, "There you go, girl. That wasn't so bad."
What
And I'm
wasn't
gonna-
so bad? Comes the voice.
It was that because that sounded ever so slightly machinery. I'm assuming it's not Mel.
It's not Mel. It seems to be coming from a speaker somewhere above your head.
Oh, the ship has an AI.
And I'll turn around after a brief thought and saying, "Coming back online. I'm assuming that that you're in this ship."
Correct. Where are we?
I'm gonna tell her the planet name.
Yes, that was where we were located last. Hello, I am Hera.
I'm gonna be like, isn't that one of the old Greek goddesses?
Correct.
I'm gonna see, are there any panels nearby that give me any kind of readouts while I'm having this sort of random conversation with an AI that's been asleep for 800 years or whatever?
There are some display screens on the console that are coming to life. They're kind of going through sort of boot up sequence sort of data at this point, so it's not really giving you too much solid information other than these checks are passing, these ones are failing at the moment.
Okay, I'm paying attention.
Okay.
I'm paying attention to these checks because I want to make sure, what's happening with the ship and what's damaged. Because if we want to do something in the future, we might need to know. So I'm watching the screens basically.
Okay, so you're noting down the yeses and nos there.
Most of the nos, because if you're going to do something, you want to know what's not working rather than what is working.
From what I know, Izzy, and this is probably outside of my character's knowledge for the most part, but when were AIs kind of around? Would 800 years ago have been too early, or would AIs have been potentially around at that time, or at least close to AIs?
General AIs of a weaker sort than you presently have would have been around at that era. Yes.
Okay, so it's not unusual.
Correct. Cash, give me another perception roll. All right.
12 versus 13.
All right, and because you're also watching, you are noticing that movement is coming closer, and in fact, you believe you see at least one robot heading in your general direction.
I'll relay that to the rest of the group and start falling back to everyone else.
All right. It's still like a half mile out, so it's going to take a little bit to get here, but that's sort of the situation.
Oh, well then I'll just radio everybody else and keep an eye on it.
All right. So you got robots coming in. You got the voice inside the ship on a strange planet.
It is an interesting situation. So either that robot outside sent out a distress call. Well, no, it has to have. Yeah, that's about the only thing I can think of because they were obviously on their way. Yeah, it could have just been a coincidence. I'm gonna turn around to the AI and I'm gonna say, "Well, my name's Alex. What are your orders here? Why did you come to this planet?"
Orders are presently unavailable.
What are your systems like?
Orders are likely within compressed data. A large section of my memory bank needed to be compressed in order to be loaded onto the systems of this craft.
Are you normally supposed to be on a craft this size? Were you transferred here from the larger ship?
Correct. Magellan identification of ship.
Huh.
Based on the age of this ship's computers and the modern ones, would my machine be able to download and expand that compressed data? Or at least access it in any way?
You're not sure.
Okay. I want to ask the AI. Can I take a look at the compressed data?
It actually takes a little while to think about this, and eventually comes back with, "That would be in violation of my orders. Also, you are not authorized to look at my internal datas."
As the systems are coming online on the panels, firstly, I suppose, are there any weapon systems,
Nope.
internal or external? And secondly, are there any? Is there any evidence for faster than light drives, anything like that?
Give me a spacer roll on that last one.
Okay.
Well, you already said it could hit hyperspace if needed.
It could potentially,
The question is
given the
intact is
general.
the question.
Yeah.
Made it by 5.
All right. The general question is, yes, it can potentially enter hyperspace. The problem is that it is very likely to not have the fuel requirements in order to do that.
And it's probably knackered anyway. So I mean, is this ship even vaguely spaceworthy at this point?
It's questionable.
Is it airworthy? Could we use it to get out of here if we need to and stay in Atmo?
Good question.
We'll have to find out next time.
Ah!
So yes, we're gonna leave it here with the robots closing in. You guys are talking to an AI, and got you managed to bypass and disable the big robot outside. You got your NPCs hanging out, probably going, it's like, well, this is pretty weird.
Probably plotting the next murder, I suspect. I mean, I suspect that I'll be the 4th victim, and the weird fucking symbol that gets carved on my body will be the symbol for foolishness.
Well, obviously, the actual murderer is the mule.
The mule. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure the mule wasn't on the Compton. So I'm pretty sure that Yeba wouldn't have been murdered by the mule.
Now, Simon, didn't you purchase the mule on Greenhaven?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I did.
Don't start this shit. Don't you start this physics. Don't even start it. Don't tell me that he was a part of the cargo on the fucking Compton. If you do, I will rage quit. That's
Is there
it.
somebody hiding inside the mule?
Oh god,
The
it's
whole
actually not
time.
a robot. It's not a robot, it's a person. It's very uncomfortable.
Could be a Trojan mule.
Oh my god.
It's a real mule with armor on.
Fuck's sake.
That murders people. All right, so we're gonna leave it here. The robots are closing in. You guys are, Van has, Cash has radioed in that you might have some company coming in, but you guys are in this particular situation, and we'll pick up this pickle next time.
Okay.
So,
Seems
shall we?
legit.
So we should do some outros. So who are you again, and where can we find?
Okay, I'm Mark Major Bellick. I'm sure you can probably Google it if you care.
Do it.
Yeah. Next. Gepwin.
I am Gepwin. You can find me on YouTube at Gepwin, on Twitter at Gepwin. I do video game stuff. I'm doing a lot of Fallout things, gearing up to the new game, and I also co-host a podcast with Dr. Izix.
Hi.
You can find at watchersoftomorrow.com.
Groovy.
Excellent. I'm Peter Taylor TX. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Do a variety of different gameplay stuff for the most part.
All right, I'm Van Velding, vanvelding.com, or Twitter, or at Van Velding on Twitter.
Cool. And I'm Dr. Izix, and that was some more Stellar Renaissance, where we got crazy planets with coldness and robots and crash spaceships and all that cool stuff.
Cool.
Yes. So we'll tune in next time. Next time on this thing.
You're getting too used to those outros, aren't you?
I know, right?